What up? It's K.Honesty, and I'm about to do a review of the first 3 premiere episodes of season 3 of Bel Air. So, if you haven't seen episodes 1 through 3 of season 3 of Bel Air, turn this video off, go watch the episodes, and come back and watch this video. And please like the video and subscribe to my channel. It's a simple and free way to support my channel. So, it don't cost you nothing to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to support. I'm not a public speaker. I will tend to fumble my words and say and so and like. I may stop to regain my thoughts. I may slow my speaking down to regain my thoughts. I'm going to definitely be looking at my notes over here that I take throughout the show. And anything I say, it's my opinion. It does not reflect anyone or anything associated with the show. Please comment below what you would grade all 3 episodes, what you thought of all 3 episodes in their entirety. All the good stuff that you think about the shows and the episodes. If I forget anything or if I'm off on anything, let me know in the comments. And I like to grade the episodes before and after my reviews. And since we're going to start with episode 1, of course, I'm going to grade episode 1 first. Of course, I'm going to put in the description the timestamps when I talk about episodes 2 and 3 for those that may have not watched episodes 2 and 3 yet. So I will make sure to leave those timestamps in the description. And I will give a what's the word? I'll give an alert for when I'm about to start talking about episode 2. For now, we're gonna talk about episode 1. I would grade episode 1. It was a nice little premiere. I would grade episode 1. To me, episodes 2 and 3 were better than the premiere episode, so I would have to give episode 1 a C plus. Just because I feel like episodes 2 and 3 were way better, so I'm gonna have to give episode 1 a C plus. Yeah. So for now, last chance. If you haven't seen the premiere episode of season 3 of Bel Air, turn this video off because I'm about to spoil the entire episode. And like I said, I will give a alert when I start talking about episodes 2 and 3, and the timestamps will be in the description. So for now, episode 1, the premiere episode. So season 3 starts off. Of course, it's the summertime, so school is out, and Will is spending most of his time at the country club, the golf country club, and he runs into this retired MMA fighter played by Vic Mensa, who is like this billionaire mogul now, and he got this summer program that's supposed to be helping out the youth and whatnot. So he runs into him at the country club, asks to be a part of his summer internship program, and Vic Mensa, he gives him an opportunity to come and basically interview for the program. He tells him when to come and whatnot. Carlton, he has spent the last 30 days in rehab after, revealing to his family and friends and the whole damn school community that he was an addict. So he done spent 30 days in rehab, and his time is up. So he's about to come home. Hillary has spent the last month in Paris with her boyfriend LaMarcus. Basically, what should I say, rebound, because she broke up with Jazz and then hopped on the plane with this dude. So it's like he kind of like a rebound. Phil and Viv seem to be happier than ever since the whole Erica debacle, or so we think. And they're taking pictures for a magazine cover. And Ashley's little friend, I forgot to get her name before I started this review. I forgot her name. But the little white girl who seems to be like of LGBTQ plus IA, she is hanging out with Ashley, and she's like, your family seems so perfect. And Ashley's like, that's just the front, basically. And then we go back to Carlton. He connects with this girl in rehab named Amira, and they start making out, and Will and Uncle Phil and Viv come in and almost catch him in the act with her. Will kind of catches him. So I'm just going from where I feel like I just wrote the stuff that was important. So some of these scenes you might be like, oh, well, what happened about that part? Look, I just wrote what I feel like was important. So Carlton, he's back home, and he sees a lot of changes when he gets home. It's a lock on the wine cellar. They done took all the doors off of his bedroom, and they basically have a dinner, and because Carlton's back, and they basically filling Carlton in on what's been going on since he's been gone and whatnot. They talk about an upcoming Juneteenth party, which happens on this episode. And Ashley, you know, when Carlton was on drugs, he grabbed her up in the last episode. It was like, you better not tell nobody. And she's still feeling a way about Carlton. So she gets serious at the table, and she's like, I want to know how rehab went. And Carlton's like, you know, I'm learning I got to face my demons. And she's like, and what does that mean? And he's saying, you know, I just got to take it day by day, basically. And she's like, okay, better said than done. So she basically not buying the bullshit until she see some improvement in Carlton. Hillary has a heart-to-heart with Carlton for not being there when he was addicted. She said she figured since everybody was doing it that he'd be okay. So they have that little heartfelt moment. Viv and Phil, they have such busy lives that they come to a point where they realize they haven't had sex in a couple of weeks. And Viv promises that they'll get it in after the Juneteenth party, which doesn't happen. So it's kind of a strain there in their relationship. Like Ashley said at the beginning of the episode, it looks like glimmer and gold, but it ain't. So Will and Carlton, they go out for food, and Will's telling Carlton about, you know, he's been kicking it at the country club, and he's been kicking it with Lisa, but they're still on the no labels terms. And Carlton talks about hopefully still being able to get into Princeton even after his rehab stint and whatnot. He waiting to hear back from them. This is when they run into Will's father, Lou, played by Marlon Wayans, and Will is completely turned off. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Carlton's getting piss tested now. He's getting piss tested at the house. So Will immediately talks with Jeffrey. Jeffrey, Viv, and Phil about finding out that Lou has been staying in town for a little while and hasn't reached out, and they wondering why that is. And you know, Will just chucking it up as him being the deadbeat that he is. And Hillary and, you know, Ivy, played by Carucci, they packing up the influencer house. Everybody done jumped ship since Hillary was gone for a month in Paris. Jeffrey is still worried about his past catching up to him since they sent him a picture of him reconnecting with his son. So he's trying to beef up the security at the bank's place. He's like, you know, man ain't resting until I figure out what's going on. You hear me? He say that. Jeffrey's really on his Top Boy shit this season. I don't watch that show Top Boy, but it's giving that. So Carlton, then we get to seeing Carlton. He finds out that his Princeton meeting fell through because of, you know, whoever was backing him or recommended him, or whatever the case may be. They pulled their recommendation because of his past addiction and whatnot. And since Will has ran into his dad, he hasn't been able to focus at practice. He ends up showing up late to the meeting that he was supposed to have for the summer internship with the dude Quentin. So he goes home, and Carlton's sulking about not being able to go to Princeton, and Will's sulking about missing the interview and fucking up practice. And Carlton gives him like some harsh words. He's like, nigga, you don't think it's a coincidence that since you ran into your father and you found out he's been living here, you had a shitty practice? And so it basically tells him, like, you need to deal with your shit. Like, learn from what I've been through, deal with your shit. So Will, he goes to talk to his dad to find out why he's been staying in town. He hasn't said anything, he hasn't reached out. And Lou basically tells him, like, I didn't want to step to you until I had my shit together, until so I could come to you as a real man. Understandable, but I mean, I get both. I get where Will's coming from, and I get where Lou's coming from. So in this moment, Will finds out that his father was also MVP basketball player, and they start chopping it up about basketball. And, you know, Will's talking about his other options that he has, like business-wise, and, you know, since living with the banks, it's opened him up to other things besides basketball. And basically Lou says, in not too many words, like, nigga, you just need to be focused on basketball. And Will ain't really fucking with that. So they don't have a good rapport. He leaves, they still on bad terms. So it's the banks, they hosting a Juneteenth party, and Carlton approaches Ashley. He apologizes again, you know, for putting hands on her. He said he'll never forgive himself. He's like, I know you're not messing with me right now, but just know I'm here whenever you ready. And him and Ashley kind of have a moment where she goes up, she hugs him. So I don't know if all is forgiven, but she kind of lightening up on Carlton. And then Carlton, he goes to Will and apologizes for snapping on him, basically telling him what he needed to hear though. Like, nigga, you need to deal with your shit, because that's why you having a shitty practice. That's why you weren't able to make it on time to this internship. So I don't even understand why Carlton apologized. But I get it. Carlton always has this. His character is always like this snappy guy. So I get why he might want to go apologize to him. And then Carlton brings up the fact that Quentin will be at the Juneteenth party, and maybe he could go talk to him on Will's behalf. You know, Will's not really fucking with it, but Carlton is not. Carlton is going to do whatever he want to do. So Carlton's friend Amira from rehab, she comes, and Carlton introduces her to Viv and Phil. Of course, they find out that they met in rehab, so it's kind of off-putting for Viv and Phil for the moment. And then Amira, she goes up and she tries to talk to Viv, and Viv finds out that Amira is a repeat offender, so this isn't her first time trying to get clean. So she kind of tells, well, not kind of, she tells Amira, like, you need to prioritize yourself and let Carlton do the same. Like, y'all shouldn't even be trying to be in a relationship or whatever the case may be, since y'all just became sober. And yeah, it's like, I understand that. I mean, they say you're not supposed to be in a relationship right after, coming out of rehab and whatnot. If they keep it as a friendship, then I don't see the harm. But I understand all the stuff that Carlton put them through, so I will understand why why she was like that to Amira. So Carlton, he goes over to Quentin, and he basically pleads Will's case to him. And as he was pleading Will's case to Quentin, he also mentioned, how he's 40 days sober and, trying to get his life back together. I was in my head like, watch, he going to... At first, I thought Quentin was going to give the internship to only Carlton, but it didn't turn out that way. So I was like, okay. Jeffrey has moved his son back to the States for his and his son's protection. At the party, Hillary approaches Jazz, and she apologizes for how she basically dumped him. And Jazz, he's like, I get it. You a coward. You run from every situation when it gets hard. He's like, it's only a matter of time before you run away from this dude too. Which urges Hillary to go grab her dude LaMarcus, and they make a big announcement that they got engaged over the month that they were out in Paris. Quentin comes up to Will and Carlton before the party ends, and he tells them, if you guys are willing to team up, I will give the final spot in my internship program to you guys. So I thought that was cool. I for a minute, I thought Will was going to be kind of mad that Carlton is now involved in the internship when he had nothing to do with it at first. But I like how they both came together and they were cool with teaming up for this program. And it's like Carlton doesn't have anything else now that the Princeton thing fell through. So I was glad that Will wasn't mad, and I was glad that Quentin gave both of them this spot and not just Carlton. So after the party's all over, Carlton confronts Viv about what she said to Amira. And, he confronts Viv about what she said to Amira. And Viv's basically like, look, I did tell her that, but I need you to understand that I'm still trying to deal with all the lies you told me when you were an addict. Like, I knew it was bullshit, but I was putting my bullshit meter to the side because you were my son and I wanted to believe you and whatnot. So now it's hard for me to trust anything that comes out of your mouth, especially when you say that you and Amira are just friends. So that's understandable. Like, I understand where Viv's coming from, because like he lied to her over and over again and she was just falling for it and whatnot. But also, you gotta remember, he was an addict, so like it was the drugs making him lie. But I understand both sides of the situation. So Jeffrey comes to Will with some box of stuff that he got from Lou. He says he spoke to Lou, and he says that Lou feels like Will should have these things. Phil comes in, and Will's like, look, I know you told me not to talk to my dad, but I wanted to talk to him. And they open the box together. They go through the stuff, which is like some of Lou's basketball memorabilia. And Will, he tells Phil about his conversation with Lou. He doesn't think I should be focused on anything else but basketball. And Phil's trying to get Will to understand the way that him and Lou grew up with, either you hoop or you rap. if you ever heard that Partisan Fontaine song, like you either come up out the hood or you hoop or you rap. So he trying to get Will to understand, like, when we came up, it wasn't no way out the hood except for like maybe basketball or rapping or whatever the case may be. And Will's, he's talking about wanting to do more than just basketball, and then Phil supporting him. He's like, you don't have to limit your thinking. Whatever you do on or off the court isn't beyond your reach. So they have that conversation, which leads to Will in this final scene going up to, he was supposed to go for a 2-day game or something in Las Vegas with his team. He goes to his coach and he tells him that he doesn't want to play, so he quits basketball for the summer to focus on this business venture with Carlton for this summer internship program. So that's how the episode ends. Will has quit basketball to really like dive into the real life basketball. I said real life basketball. He's gonna quit the basketball team to dive into real life business plans and like trying to learn more from Quentin and this whole internship program. So like I said, I thought it was a cool little premiere. But the next 2 episodes were way better, which we're about to get into. But again, I would say I would grade this premiere episode a C+. It wasn't all of that. Yeah, like the next 2 episodes were super better for me. So I would have to give it a B. I would have to give it a C+. Okay, now let me put my timestamp. We're about to talk about episode 2. I'm going to do 16:45. Alright, so now we're about to talk about Bel Air Season 3, Episode 2. So if you haven't seen the second episode of Season 3 of Bel Air, you need to turn this video off and go watch it, because I'm about to spoil the entire episode. Comment below what you would grade Episode 2, what you thought of Episode 2, and please like and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so Episode 2, which I feel like I'm going to grade Episode 2. What happened on Episode 2? Episode 2, things started to get a little spicier. I would give Episode 2 a B-. I feel like Episodes 2 and 3 were way better than the premiere episode, so I would give Episode 2 a B-. But I gotta wait and talk about it and see, because I might give it higher, I might give it lower. We have to see. But for now, from what I'm remembering, I'm gonna give it a B-. So Episode 2 starts with Will and Carlton spitballing ideas for the internship. They got Phil, Viv, Ashley, Hillary sitting down trying to spitball some ideas for them. Phil and Viv are like, y'all basically don't have nothing to do this summer but that internship, which isn't going to take all of y'all time. So we are forcing you guys to get jobs at the country club. So Will and Carlton get jobs at the country club as cart cleaners, or as Carlton and his friends would call them, pit pigs. So Ashley and Hillary about to have a little sister day. And Ashley, they're talking about Hillary's engagement and how much clout, she's a super social media influencer, / chef. But people are talking more about her engagement than the stuff she actually does. So Ashley tells Hillary, I'm still holding out hope for you and Jazz. And Hillary's like, well, what do you want to do for Sister Day? And she throws in there, I want to stop at Charlie's vinyl shop. And, that's where Jazz owns. And Hillary's like, oh, I see what you did there. And Ashley's like, I just want to go pick up some records he put on the side for me. So I was like, okay, I'm here for Ash. I like Ashley trying to get, she know what's up. Her and Will. Like in the premiere episode when they was at the Juneteenth party, Hillary's like, whose side are y'all on? And they was like, Jazz. So like everybody in the family is team Jazz. And it's like nothing against the LaMarcus dude, because he ain't did nothing wrong, but it's just like Jazz is already like family, so of course we're gonna root for Jazz. Excuse me. So at the country club, Will and Carlton run into the dude Connor, who used to supply Carlton his drugs and whatnot. So they run into Connor and they meet his stepdad. And, Will ends up, because Connor's stepdad is like a big fan of Will's, and Will mentions, I quit basketball for the summer. Connor and his stepdad is like, why the fuck would you do that, basically? Not in so many words, but He's like, I know, I wanted to focus on business. And Connor's stepdad is like, well, I work for Google, so if you need any connects or introductions. And Will is like, see, that's exactly what we need, Carlton. We need to be working here so we can so we can be networking and meeting people that got good business ideas. So as Jeffrey is training his son how to fight, which doesn't seem like he needs the training. But Frederick, his son, he's asking a lot of questions about Jeffrey's past and why he had to bring Frederick into the States and to stay with him. And Jeffrey's still cagey, not really telling them nothing. So Will and Carlton, they run into Quentin at the country club because he's like a regular there. That's where Will first ran into Quentin to get the opportunity to interview for the internship. And Q's like, y'all still haven't presented no business plan to me. I got other people that's willing to take that spot. So he tells them, like, you guys got 48 hours to present a business plan to me, or I'm gonna have to go with somebody else. Because they stall and they talking about, we still brainstorming, we still workshopping, or whatever the case may be. So Viv is, of course, on high demand now since she became, I don't know I can't remember I know she works in the art world. And at one point, I believe she was trying to be the fellow from the fellowship or something. And something happened between her and the lady that was above her. I can't remember. Who I think was played by Whitley from a different world. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. I don't remember that much about season 2. But now she's on high demand, and now it's people reaching out to her to try to be her new fellow, like to be in the fellowship or whatever. Look, I don't know all the specifics. And this is when Phil calls her, and he's having an event to launch his new firm, and his caterer fell through, so he's reaching out to her to see if she can find a caterer. And Viv's assistant chimes in and is like, I can do that. I can hook that up. So Ashley and Hillary, they stop by Jazz's vinyl shop. And, Jazz and Hillary doing a little fake back and forth. Why do I keep seeing you? Oh, you and your fake engagement, your arranged marriage, and all that other stuff. It's, having a little fake back and forth. You can tell they still care for each other. Ashley happens to see Jazz's little paperwork sitting on the desk saying that delinquent taxes. So he about to, he owes some type of property taxes for his shop, or they trying to take his shop from something or something like that. I don't know all the specifics, but he's in the process of losing his shop. I hate to say process, but whatever. So Viv's assistant takes her to introduces her to this Chef Sharif, who's played by Manny from Ruthless. If you watch Tyler Perry's Ruthless, it's a soldier on there named Manny. So he's on this show, and he's playing Chef Sharif. And, he's giving Viv the food to try before she hires him. And Viv seems to like the food, so she does end up hiring him. You can kind of tell he's feeling Viv. It's kind of obvious. So, Carlton and Will have like this, I don't know who the dude is, but he's like, I don't know if he's their manager, but he's like in charge of the cart cleaners or whatever. And he checked them before about them talking to Connor and his dad, like, you ain't supposed to talk to fraternize with the customers. So he comes over and he's trying to check Will for lacking on the job, and they get to talking a little bit, and they realize they got more in common than they think. Like, they both came up basically in the hood, but like trying to make a way basically. And basically the dude puts Will on to like who he should be going to chat it up with on the golf course, as far as him trying to get business plans in his mind, get some business ideas. So as Will's about to go over there, he overhears Connor and his stepdad basically like talking about what a waste Will is for not playing basketball this summer, and like he should just basically shut up and dribble. They don't say that, but like basically saying he should be just focused on basketball and nothing else. Kind of sounding like Will's father. So Will's probably feeling the way like his father's saying this, and now you got these dudes, you got them saying this. So Amira is still dodging Carlton's text. This is when Viv sees Carlton all down and out about her not answering, and they have a heart-to-heart discussion about Carlton having relationships, and like, you know, she wanting him to be happy and experience teenage life, but it's going to kind of have to come with some restrictions because of his rehabilitation and whatnot. And Carlton expresses to Viv how much Amira helped him through rehab, and like he would like her to stick around basically. So Viv was like, I'll talk to your dad. And I'm like, what you got to talk to Phil for? He ain't had no problem with Amira. You did, Viv, but okay. So Phil and the woman that I guess her company works under Phil, or her company brings Phil clients. I don't know the specifics, but you know, at one point she came into town and she had a thing for Phil, and they had this moment, and I think Viv had to check that ass, or the girl came and apologized for whatever the case may be, but they did kiss. So Phil and the woman, they working after hours, and Erica's asking Phil, have you told Viv about the kiss? Because, you know, I'm still feeling a little guilty about that. And, you know, Phil's like, well, you know, it was nothing, so she doesn't really have to know. So we could just keep that between us. Then we get to seeing Will. He gets home from wherever he's coming from and finds his old little fling, Jackie, chatting it up with Viv. She's basically trying to get a recommendation for school. And, you know, Will and Jackie, they kind of come from the same background. And this is his coach's niece or goddaughter or something like that. And, you know, they talk briefly about, you know, caring about what their parents think and trying to exceed their parents' expectations. Carlton shows up at Amira's NA meeting. And Amira basically is so thrown off by Carlton being there. She calls him a stalker. I thought that was crazy business. Calls him a stalker and basically brushes him off. And she's like, you know what? You can stay. I'll leave. Makes a big ass scene. So now everybody at the NA meeting looking at Carlton like whoa. So it's Phil's little firm, new firm event. I don't know what this event is. I think it's like branching and introducing his new firm. I can't remember what. Look, I don't know all the specifics. I'm just trying to look. So Will and Carlton and Jazz, they on the elevator. Will and Carlton are complaining about still not having a business plan for Q. And Jazz just like, y'all got some bougie ass problems right now. Like, some people can't bounce back from their problems like y'all can. Y'all need to suck it up. And, you know, then he ends up mentioning that he might lose his shop because of tax delinquency or whatever the case may be. So Phil's event starts. Jeffrey introduces Frederick, his son, to Will and Carlton. And as Will, Carlton, and Frederick walk around, you know, fraternizing and whatnot, Phil walks over, you know, he suggests to Jeffrey, how about you just tell your son the truth? Like, he's a grown man. He should be able to take whatever you got to tell him. Even offers Frederick a job at his firm to keep him busy. So Jeffrey can keep an eye on him. So Viv arrives to the event, and of course it's super awkward between her and the Erica woman. Erica dips away as soon as she says hi to Viv. She gets the fuck out of Dodge. Phil and Viv start chatting with people, and Phil is offering up Viv's fundraising skills and her all types of skills, and Viv's face, you can kind of tell she don't look too pleased about that. It's brought up later. Phil, you know, he makes his speech. He thanks all the bosses, big boss people for coming through and whatnot. And then we get this montage of Will and Carlton networking with all these boss players or whatnot that's at Phil's event. Viv introduces Hillary to the chef dude, Sharif, because, you know, Hillary is a chef. And Hillary clearly sees that the dude is trying to flirt with Viv, and she's like, I'm telling Daddy. Phil approaches Jazz and basically offers to invest in his shop. He's like, I heard a lot of places on your street have been going down because of tax delinquency or whatever the case may be. And Jazz puts two and two together as he's talking to Phil. He realizes that Hillary may have put Phil up to, well, not may have. Hillary put Phil up to coming and making that loan offer to him. So during the party and everything's going on, Will overhears Frederick making a phone call with someone, and he hears stuff like, Jeffrey doesn't have to know, I didn't tell Jeffrey anything, whatever the case may be. Super sketchy. Viv goes and tries to have a conversation with Erica, and Erica skedaddles once again. She drinks her wine and she gets the fuck again. So it's super noticeable. So Jazz confronts Hillary about sending Phil to give him a loan. And of course, they have this fake back and forth. Why do we keep popping? Why do we keep ending up in the same fucking room together? Da, 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 da. And then they kiss. It's like, of course, we knew y'all wasn't over each other. I don't know. I don't care if you went away for a month with a nigga to Paris and had the time of your life. You can't stop all the time. I mean, all the feelings that you had for Jazz and all the time y'all spent together. So Will and Carlton finally present their business plan to Q, basically share their stories and make merch out of it, books, podcasts, and whatnot, and give some of the proceeds back to Black-owned businesses, starting with Jazz's shop. And they call it Black Cess, like access, but Black Cess. So after the event, I meant to mention this in the premiere episode review. Remember Viv, I think I did say it, but Viv promised Phil she was going to give him some booty after the Juneteenth party. That didn't happen. So it's a strain in their relationship. I mean, it's obvious. You can tell. So after Phil's firm event, Viv tells Phil, like, look, you was promising me to host all these and do all these events. I'm not going to be able to do all that. I'm too booked and busy and whatnot. And Phil's like, oh, yeah, I understand that. And I'm just like, why would you do it then? Because now you got to go back and tell these people or try to schedule it around some time that she is free. But it's like, what if she don't want to do it when she is free? Because that's the only time she's going to be free and get some time to chill. And you already complaining that she ain't giving you no booty. So it's just like... So Viv, she brings up Erica acting strange at the firm party. And feels like, oh, I wouldn't think too much of it. And just like... Viv told Carlton in the last episode, in the premiere episode, she told him, my bullshit meter was going off, but I was ignoring it because you're my son. And Viv was like, so I feel like in this moment when Phil's like, oh, don't think too much of it, Viv's like, she makes a face, but you can kind of tell her bullshit meter's going off. But she doesn't say anything. So then we get this scene. Jeffrey, he comes clean. He tells Frederick about his past, how basically he was the number 2 to one of the largest crime gangs in London. And when he found out he was to be a father, he tried to leave, but the boss didn't like that and tried to take his life. So he had to defend himself and ended up killing the boss. And then he ran away. And he's been on the run ever since. But now that he's reconnected with Frederick, he thinks that they may have... found out his whereabouts. And he shows Frederick the picture that they sent him of him and Frederick when they first met up in season 1, something like that. So Carlton, he goes back to Amira's NA meeting and he goes up on the stage and, he speaks truth about, still struggling with his sobriety and whatnot. And then we cut away to to Viv at work, and Sharif done sent her some flowers, basically thanking her for the business that she brought him. And then back at the meeting, Amira, she catches up with Carlton, and she tells him, I know you said you need me, but it scares me because I need you too. And, they have this moment, and they end up kissing. And the guy who hosts the NA meetings, he sees them kissing, and he's making a face. So I'm just like, maybe he knows more about Amira than we know. Because she already says she a repeat offender. She says that she fuck up anything she touch or anybody she gets close to. So he probably know more about Amira than Carlton does, and probably thinks that it's not a good idea of them seeing each other. Because that scene was just weird for me. Then we get this final little scene. Will and Carlton find out that Jackie is the new yoga instructor at the country club. Thanks to Aunt Viv. And Carlton's like, my mom is messy. But whole time, Viv didn't know. And I was surprised. I didn't know she didn't know. But that's how episode 2 ends. I feel like episode 2 was better than the premiere episode just because We got more layers in this episode. We got the sneaky phone call with Jeffrey. We got Jackie back in the mix. We got, I'm actually the sneaky phone call with Jeffrey. The sneaky phone call with Jeffrey's son. We got Jackie back in the mix. We find out a little more about Jeffrey's past. Well, mostly more and more about Jeffrey's past. We got this whole situation, this whole kiss situation with Viv and Phil. So there's a lot more to digest in episode 2 than episode 1. That's why I would have to give it a B-. That's why I fucked with episode 2 better than I fucked with episode 1. Alright, so we're about to get into this final one. Let me just put a timestamp for episode 3. I'm going to do 35. How about we do that? Yeah. Alright, so now we're about to talk about episode 3 of season 3 of Bel Air. So if you haven't seen episode 3 of season 3 of Bel Air, turn this video off because I'm about to spoil the entire episode. Comment below what you thought of this episode and all the episodes. What you would grade all the episodes, what you thought of this episode, what you would grade this episode. I'm repeating myself, whatever. Like and subscribe to the channel. I can't stress that enough. Like and subscribe if you want to support. I'm about to get right into episode 3, which is the final episode that they aired. And sorry about this don't being 2 days late. I mean, I usually try to put the reviews out the day after a show comes out, but you know, life be lifing. So, yeah. So, the beginning of episode 3. Will and Carlton are trying to come up with a logo. Well, they actually come up with the logo for their merch. It's the next morning and Viv tries to question Jeffrey about Erica acting weird at the party. And Phil walks in and notices Sharif's little note for Viv. And he's like, oh, so he only thanked you, huh? So they kind of, and Phil's like, his tacos wasn't all that, right, G? And kind of trying to put Jeffrey in they bullshit. Jeffrey just blowing his breath like, I don't want to be involved in this shit. So Will and Carlton, they're at Jazz's shop. And Jazz introduces them to this woman that's running for city councilwoman. I can't remember her name. But then they mention black-owned, well, not black-owned, but it was like car show. They mentioned a car show happening tomorrow. So they like... So Will and Carlton was like, oh, this is the perfect place for us to start, you know, talking about black cess and putting people on the black cess. We get this scene where Lisa's coach tells her, like, if you got any summer plans, you might as well forget about them because I train hard. If you want to make it to nationals, you got to forget about anything you got planned for this summer. You know, Lisa's a swimmer. So Viv is having brunch with Ashley and Hillary. Her phone is blowing up. Well, it's hella IG notifications. Hillary immediately blocks the person on Viv's phone and reports the account. I heard of blocking, but damn, blocking and reporting the account. So Viv ends up leaving the table, and Ashley she admits, you know, I saw you and Jazz kissing at Dad's event. So Hillary's like, it was a mistake, and you need to keep that between us two. And Ashley's like, okay, well, if it was a mistake, then you make sure you tell LaMarcus. I'm like, this little girl be on it, bruh. So Lisa, she's walking with Viv, and, you know, she's thanking her for hooking her up with the coach and getting her access to the country club and all the things. And Jackie walks up, and, you know, Jackie's thanking Viv for all that she's done. And she's like, you sure you don't want to adopt me? And Lisa's like, well, you know, I was here first. So they had that moment. And this is when Viv finds out that Jackie and Will had a thing going on via Lisa. So she finds out via Lisa, and Viv's like, oh my God, like I did not realize I just made the ultimate auntie fail. So Viv didn't even know about the situation between Will and Jackie. So she didn't realize that it was awkward giving Jackie all this. But it's kind of like, okay, I'm glad she didn't know, because then it's like, what you would have done if Jackie came to you and you knew? Like, would you would have turned her away? She didn't do nothing to you, you know? So Jeffrey comes to Phil's office trying to bring him some business outside of Erica's company or whatever. He's like, you know, I suggest you try not to rely only on Erica's people for business. That way you can create some type of boundary between yourself and Erica. And I'm like, okay, that's smart. I mean, that'd be cool if Viv already knew about that'd be cool if Viv didn't know about she don't know about the kiss. So I get it. But it'd be weird now. And it was weird when Phil tells Viv about it later. So Will and Carlton, they showing their merch off to Lisa and Jackie in hopes that they'll wear it and, spread the word at the car show. And Jackie's like, well, I'll be there. And Lisa's like, well, if I can make it, if it fits around my schedule. And they walk off, and Carlton is like, Will, you think you should be co-mingling with the two of them? He's like, and Will's, he brings up Lisa said no labels, and Carlton's like, I know she said that, but she clearly gonna feel a way about you having Jackie around and whatnot. So Will is chucking it up as no big deal. So as they're prepping their merch for the car show, Will tells Carlton about the sketchy phone call that he heard Frederick making at Phil's event, and he asks if he should tell Jeffrey. And Carlton's like, I don't think you should. Phil comes in, and he hears him talking about Frederick. He's like, what about Frederick? And they're like, oh no, we were just thinking we should invite him tomorrow to the car show. And Phil leaves the room, and Carlton's like, well, why would you lie to Dad? And Will's basically like, well, how about we just keep Frederick close for now and try to find out what his play is before we make any moves, or before we decide if we want to tell Jeffrey or not. So this is when Phil tells Viv that I'm about to start getting my own clients. That way I won't have to rely on Erica so much. And Viv's like, well, her clients are bringing you, she's bringing you good clients and whatnot. What's the change now, basically? So it was like weird of him to just come out of nowhere. If there's no problems now and her and Erica are supposed to be on good terms, why all of a sudden are you trying to keep? And he's like, well, I thought I should be more sensitive to your feelings. I just want a happy wife, happy life. And again, Viv makes a face like her bullshit meter is going off, but she doesn't say anything. And I'm just like, Viv's going to get to the bottom of it. I was like, eventually she's going to find out. And if she don't find out from you, Phil, it's going to be a problem. And she doesn't find out from Phil. So then we get this scene. Ashley, she writes this poem about her family living a lie, basically, with her the little white girlfriend. I'm going to find out her name by the next episode. So I won't have to keep saying her little white girlfriend. But yeah, she shares her poem with her friend about her family. And the next day, as Viv's coming to work, her assistant shows her this portrait that went up overnight on the side of her office. And Viv's intrigued, and the assistant's like, "Oh, I'm on it. I'm gonna find out who it is ASAP." So it's the day of the car show. Will, Carlton, Jackie, and Lisa, they get there. They start promoting Black Cess. It's looking like it's going well. We cut away to Hillary telling Ivy about her kiss with Jazz, and that Ashley saw, and that she plans on telling LaMarcus. And Ivy's totally against it. She's like, you trying to commit career and relationship suicide. Don't tell LaMarcus. Take that shit to the grave. And I'm just like, I don't know. Is that the type of friend you want? I don't know. I'm kind of more on Ashley's side. Because it's like, if the kiss was a mistake, like you told Ashley, then like she said, tell LaMarcus then. So back at the car show, Jazz is putting out his car for sale, and it's a dude immediately trying to buy it off rip. And Jazz is like, well, I'm just putting feelers out. He's still hesitant about selling it. Carlton's little girlfriend, Amira, she pulls up in a Hellcat. Now, trust me, I did not know what type of car that was until Carlton said what type of car it was. So, Jackie comes over, and she's bragging about selling a lot of merch, and she grabs Will up to introduce him to someone who might be willing to put some of their merch in their shop. And Amira goes up to Lisa, and she's like, it's weird how she all up on your boyfriend like that. Lisa's like, well, we're not boyfriend and girlfriend. Still trying to play the no labels role, but you could clearly see the steam coming out of her ears, so to speak. So Phil, he goes to check out the site that Jeffrey put him on to. And he's talking with the site manager. And the dude basically is standoffish. He's like, this might not be your type of fight then. Because there's going to be a lot of more bullshit coming this way. Because a lot of people don't want this property to go up. He's like, you seem like you too busy on your business profile. So this might not be for you. But by all means, take a look around. So Will and Carlton at the car show, they catch Frederick placing bets for a street racing event that's gonna happen later on after the car show is over. And they don't really fuck with that. So we cut away to Viv's office, and her assistant finds the artist that tagged the building and helps Viv find her on her phone. And that's when Viv realizes it's the page that Hillary blocked and reported earlier in the episode. Or was it last episode? I don't remember. And she tells her assistant to set up a meeting with this artist. And me personally, I don't know why I feel like the artist is going to be that chef dude. I don't think that's the end of us seeing Chef Sharif. I think it's going to be him. I don't know why. It's some weird feeling I got. I think it's going to be him. So, back at the car show, Jazz and Will, they have this heart-to-heart in Jazz's car. You know, Jazz is feeling like he's not living up to his expectations that he thought. He thought he would have vinyl shops all around Cali. And he's talking about how he can't even hold on to the one he got. And, you know, he's talking about how, you know, Will and Carlton's help is much appreciated, but it's not going to be enough to save his shop. And he coming to a realization that he's going to have to sell his car. He's telling Will, give me a few minutes with my car before I have to get rid of her. It was super sad because Jazz was super emotional. He was like, I appreciate what y'all trying to do for me. And, you know, Will's like, you always been there for me, so I'm just returning the favor. So Will comes up with a plan to help Jazz keep his car. They decide to bet in the street racing. So they bet against the guy that wants to buy Jazz's car. And if he wins, he gets Jazz's car without having to pay the $30K that he offered. But if Will and Carlton win, Jazz gets $35K and he gets to keep his car. So they end up using Amira's Hellcat. And Carlton was going to drive, but he starts seeming uneasy about the fact. So Will then ends up driving and Carlton gets in the passenger seat. And they start off slow, but they end up winning the street race. Jazz's face when he thought they lost for a minute, Jazz's whole expressions watching this whole street race was so funny. Because he was like, he got on the ground. He was like, thank you, Uncle Charlie. He was doing a whole bunch of bullshit. It was just funny. So after the race, Jackie, she comes over. She offers to basically hook them up with some food at a place that's supposed to be closed, but she know the manager or whatever. So Lisa, who's finally had enough, she's like, damn, bitch, you doing all that to get, basically calls Jackie out for being super friendly with Will. Jackie storms off. Will goes after Lisa. And Lisa's like, you know, I don't got time to be competing with Jackie. Plus, my car going to be full this summer anyway. So if you want to be with her, be with her. And her and Amira step off. And then next thing you know, Frederick is getting into it with these guys who he made bets with. And they claiming that he skimped them out of some money. So Will and Carlton get involved. And things get heated. And then the cops show up. Everybody flees. And Will Carlton and Frederick get away. And then Frederick pulls out the money, like laughing, like basically he did skimp them niggas. And it's just like you was about to get into a fight when you really did do them wrong. So then Jeffrey pulls up and Frederick lies and he's like, you know, it was a big crowd and stuff got out of hand. He was like, he basically had to save Will and Carlton's ass. Just lying to his father. I'm like, do you know what your father does for a living? He digs up shit and like, he goes, like, he's basically like a bona fide PI type shit. Like, you think you could lie to him? So, the next day, Will catches Lisa before her practice and tells her that he's not checking for Jackie. He wants to be with her. He's just waiting for her to come around and make it official. So, they officially become boyfriend and girlfriend. So, then we get this scene. Viv, she pops up at Erica's place of business to find out why Erica has been so weird. She's like, I thought we had a coming to Jesus moment. You gave me flowers. We was good. And then the scene, it doesn't show, but it basically implies that Erica told Viv about the kiss. Then we cut away to Ashley suggesting to her little white girlfriend, trust me, I'm going to learn her name. Suggesting to her little white girlfriend that they start a band. Ivy joins Hillary at LaMarcus's practice, and Hillary tells Ivy, like, I done kept it a secret too long. It's time for me to finally tell LaMarcus about the kiss. So then we get this scene. Will and Carlton catch Frederick in Phil's office, and they confront him about his sketchy ways and whatnot. Frederick throws a jab at Carlton about Carlton basically being raised by his father while he wasn't raised by his father. And they basically suggest to Frederick, like, you need to come clean with Jeffrey before we do. And Frederick's like, well, if I'm gonna come clean, I'm gonna tell him all. I'm gonna tell it all. I'm gonna tell him about the y'all street racing. And I was like, who gives a fuck? Like, I don't think Jeffrey's gonna give a fuck about them street racing. Like, that shit's over with now. They safe and sound. Nothing bad, too bad happened. I was gutted. They was scared of him telling Jeffrey about them street racing. I would have been like, fuck, nigga, tell him. It was just weird. Like, why are y'all so scared about that one little tidbit? But whatever. So Phil gets home and Viv basically comes at him. They start arguing about him not telling her about the kiss with Erica. Carlton comes in and overhears them arguing, but he hears his name, so he probably feeling away thinking that they arguing because of him. And I was like, damn, why he had to come in and hear his name? Why he couldn't have came in when she was like, you told her not to tell me? Or something. Like, why I had to be coming in and him hearing his name? That was fucked up. So we get this final scene back at LaMarcus's practice, and LaMarcus gets hit pretty bad and he goes down. And that's how the episode ends. And oh damn, did I grade this episode? I would grade this episode to I would grade episode 3 a B plus. I would give it a B plus. Episodes 2 and 3 were way better than the premiere for me. So yeah, I would give episode 2 B minus, episode 3 B plus, episode 1 I would give it a C plus. But yeah, I enjoyed this third episode. A lot happened. I'm glad that Lisa and Will made it official, because it was just like, what was y'all doing the whole time? Like, no labels. Like, come on, like. But I'm wondering if Lisa's schedule was gonna have something to do with anything. I wonder if that's the last we're gonna see of Jackie. I'm still skeptical about this Amira girl. I don't really trust it the whole way. I don't know. She be looking high. Just to me, she be looking high to me. I don't know. I hope Viv and Phil can get it together, and I hope they don't kill off LaMarcus and make it easy for Hillary to just go back to Jazz. That'd be weird as hell. But now I feel like she ain't gonna feel like she want to tell him until he like recovers or whatnot. She don't want to put no more stress on him. So that's what I'm thinking might happen. And like I said, I feel like they should just tell Jeffrey what's going on with his son, because his son is sketchy as hell. Like I thought Will would have been told Jeffrey about that phone call, because like shit's real with what's going on with Jeffrey and Frederick. So I would have told him about the phone call. You got Jeffrey out here lacking. Like, that's not cool. But yeah, I would give this episode a B plus. It was a good episode. All 3 episodes were good, but 2 and 3 definitely did better than the premiere. Yeah, comment below which I would grade all 3 episodes, what you thought of all 3 episodes. Like and subscribe to the channel. Again, I can't stress that enough. Help me get to over 300 subscribers. Did I forget to say anything? Yeah, comment below, like and subscribe. Again, thanks for watching. If you watched all the way, if you watched half, whatever the case may be. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment below. See y'all in the next review. Peace.